You ever have that moment where your paycheck hits your account? You feel rich for about, I don't know, 36 hours? You check your balance. You breathe a little easier. Maybe you even think, okay, this is it. I'm finally getting ahead. And then rent clears. The subscriptions hit. Groceries, gas, that random charge you forgot about. And suddenly you're back to staring at your bank app thinking, how am I working this hard and still feeling broke? If you ever felt that emotional roller coaster around money, yeah, this video is for you. Introduction. I spend way too much time thinking about why your first $5,000 changes your brain more than your income. If you're someone who is stuck or stagnant about personal finance, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, I want to challenge one of the most common assumptions people have about money. That assumption is this: once I make more money, everything will finally feel different. Here's the thing. That's not how the human brain actually works around money. And this is where most people get completely blindsided. Challenge the common assumption early. Look, society has drilled this idea into us that income is everything. Higher income equals less stress. Higher income equals confidence. Higher income equals freedom. But here's what most people don't realize. Your brain does not fundamentally change when your income goes up. It changes when your relationship with money changes. And for the vast majority of people, that shift doesn't happen at $80,000 a year or $120,000 a year or even $200,000 a year. It happens when they save their first $5,000. Why $5,000 is a psychological threshold. Now, that number might sound small to some people and massive to others, and that's kind of the point. According to the Federal Reserve, nearly 40% of adults would struggle to cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money or selling something. Let that sink in for a second. So when someone builds $5,000 in savings, they haven't just stacked cash. They've crossed a psychological threshold. Because for the first time, money stops being something that only leaves their life and starts becoming something that stays. This is where it gets really interesting. The brain on scarcity versus safety. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, your brain is operating in scarcity mode. Scarcity mode does a few things. It shortens your time horizon. It increases impulsive decisions. It makes you hyper-focused on immediate relief instead of long-term progress. This isn't a character flaw. It's neuroscience. Studies from behavioral economics show that financial scarcity can reduce cognitive capacity by the equivalent of losing 13 IQ points. That's the same effect as staying up all night. So when people say, I'm just bad with money, no, your brain is exhausted. But here's the flip side. When you save your first $5,000, your brain gets proof of safety. Not wealth, not luxury. Safety. Why income increases don't fix this. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but wouldn't making more money do the same thing? Great question. And the answer is not necessarily. Let's say you're making $50,000 a year and jump to $70,000. That's a huge increase on paper. But if your expenses rise with it, nicer apartment, newer car, more lifestyle upgrades, your brain stays in the exact same survival loop. Same stress. Same anxiety, just bigger numbers. This is why so many high-income earners feel just as trapped as people making half as much. Income changes math. Savings change psychology. Clear math example. Let's put some real numbers to this. If you save $5,000 and keep it as a true buffer, not spending money, that's 1 to 3 months of basic expenses for many people. The ability to handle emergencies without panic. The power to say no to bad decisions. Compare that to a $10,000 raise. After taxes, maybe that $600 extra a month. Helpful? Sure. Life-changing? Not if it disappears immediately. The raise improves cash flow. The savings changes how you think. The identity shift. Here's what most people don't realize. Saving your first $5,000 creates an identity shift. You stop seeing yourself as someone who hopes to get ahead and start seeing yourself as someone who can. And identity drives behavior. Once someone believes, I'm the type of person who can save money, Their actions change automatically. They pause before spending. They plan instead of react. They think in months and years, not days. This is the same reason why crash diets fail, but identity-based habit changes stick. Relatable analogy. Think of it like learning to swim. Your income is how strong your arms are. Your savings is the life jacket. You could be the strongest swimmer in the pool, but if you're exhausted and panicking, you're still in danger. That $5,000? That's the moment you realize you're not going to drown. Addressing objections. Now you might be thinking, okay, easy to say, but saving $5,000 feels impossible right now. I hear you, and I'm slightly frustrated here. Not at you, but at the system and the advice people usually get. Because nobody tells you that the first goal isn't wealth. It's stability. And stability is built painfully, slowly, and unglamorously. Actionable steps. How to reach the first $5,000. Let's make this practical. Step 1. Define what the $5,000 is for. It's not an investment. It's not a vacation fund. It's a my life doesn't fall apart fund. Step 2. Automate something. Even $25 or $50 per paycheck. Automation removes emotion, and emotion is the enemy early on. Step 3. Create a temporary lifestyle squeeze. Not forever. Just long enough to prove to yourself that progress is possible. Cut one subscription. Delay one upgrade. Redirect that money to the buffer. Step 4. Track momentum, not perfection. Your brain responds to visible progress more than flawless execution. Storytelling moment. I've seen this over and over. People hit $5,000 and something clicks. They stop obsessing over every small expense. They start thinking about investing. They stop feeling desperate for the next paycheck. Nothing external changed, but everything internal did. Build toward surprising insight. This is where it gets really interesting. Once that mental shift happens, income increases actually start to matter more, because now raises don't disappear. Bonuses don't get wasted. Investments feel safe instead of scary. The first $5,000 unlocks the ability to use money wisely. Lifestyle design angle. And this ties directly into lifestyle design. When your brain isn't in survival mode, you can design your life intentionally. You can choose jobs more carefully. You can tolerate short-term discomfort for long-term gain. You can align spending with values instead of stress. That's real freedom. Not the car, not the watch, the mental quiet. Strong motivational close. So if you're watching this and feeling behind, here's what I want you to hear. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're just early in the process. Stop chasing the next income number and start chasing stability. Because your first $5,000 won't just change your bank account. It will change how your brain sees the future. And once that happens, everything else gets easier. If this video helped shift how you think about money, hit that like button. Subscribe for more content on wealth, psychology, and lifestyle design, and drop a comment below. What's your current savings goal, and what's stopping you from hitting it faster? I'll see you in the next one.